All right, y'all. It is another day, another day. Welcome back to Sip with Joy. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, and Sip with Joy is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings, and I am that girl. So come on in, come on in. It's another Monday. Ooh, I can't believe we're almost at Thanksgiving. I don't know where the time has gone, but you know what? It's all right. It's all right. So, welcome back again. If you're joining me, say hi in the chat. I want to see who's in here. Um, yeah, I again am Joy M. Hutton. Let's get into it. I'm drinking a Sauterne today. It is from France, and this is actually a dessert wine, but I'm having a little piece of cheesecake, so and I also want to show you guys, some dessert wines as well. Cause y'all out here, I know y'all like Moscato. Hey Elsie, that's my Moscato friend. She liked the Moscato, and it's not really meant for everyday drinking, but it is sweeter. And always tune in for the sip of the day so that you can see, so that you can hear about this wine in more detail. So yeah, this is a Sauterne, and it is from France, and it is a dessert wine. So I'm gonna have a little sippy sip. Hey Sharon, cheers. All right. So okay, y'all. So the title of today's episode is Dating is Ghetto. And I got my Jizzle hoodie on today because, I'm for the streets. But I'm not. I be trying to act like I'm hood, y'all, but I'm not. I'm just not at all. But anyway, Jizzle, that's me and Lydia's moniker, Jizzle and Lizzle. But anyway, yeah, dating is ghetto. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about some new dating trends, some terms or slang that I have never even heard of. And I literally just found out what ghosting was after I got divorced and was out here newly dating. So, yeah, I was ghosted by somebody, and I was like, really? What I do? We don't communicate anymore. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So let's get into it because there's a lot of them. Okay. So yeah, some new trends, y'all. So there is something called open casting. And this is not going for an audition for a show. This is when you consider dating someone that's not necessarily your type. And this is interesting because I am noticing a lot of people kind of deviate. Hey, Robin, I am noticing people kind of deviate from what they normally would because they're like, you know what? People out here tripping. And maybe that tall man, tall, dark, and handsome worked for you before, but it may not be working now. So you may deviate from your type a little bit. So that's open casting. Because maybe you just want somebody nice and they may not necessarily be a looker like you're used to dating. All right. Then you have love life balance. So this is just people are starting to prioritize their dating life instead of being workaholics, and they want love. Okay, so they're prioritizing it. Next, we have wander love, like wanderlust, or like a traveler. So these are what it actually means is you want to travel. People love to travel, but they are also more open to dating someone in another city. So basically long distance dating. And I know for me, sometimes I go back and forth with this because the older I get, the more I want my partner to be in the same city as me. But we got airplanes. So I'll get on an airplane. I don't necessarily have a problem with long distance, especially with my schedule, and I know I'm not able to see someone every day. But like I was telling somebody before, and I've said many times to guys when they're like, well, do you even have time for dating? And I'm like, yeah, you make the time for the things that you want. So yes, I will. So that's wonder, love, dating someone in another city. All right, new year, new men. And you know how you say new year, new me. So this is 3 out of 4 men actually say that they have examined their behavior more than ever and have a clearer understanding of toxic masculinity and what is acceptable. I think the jury is out on that, but if there are any men in the room, you can speak to this. But I think the verdict is still out on this one because I feel like there are still a lot of men who are anti-feminist. They are, still have a fear of showing emotions. They still super aggressive, so those are some examples of toxic masculinity. So I think that, the verdict is still out. All right, next we have ethical sexploration. So this is, and y'all, I got baby ears, and this earpiece just be falling out. So that's why I'm always doing this, because it won't stay in my little ear. Okay, so ethical sexploration is when people are approaching sex, intimacy, and dating in an open and exploratory way. Now, last week we talked about polyamory, where people just doing whatever makes them feel good, And so I'm again, I play it safe when it comes to a lot of things. But if I'm with the right person, then we can explore. But I ain't out here exploring with everybody. Okay. Um, Cash candid dating is another trend. So this is where more people are interested in casual dates than something fancy, and they're having more honest conversations about money because the cost of living, the way that's set up now, people don't have as much cash as they used to. So they're like, let's do something that's not as expensive. And you know what? I am okay with that. We also talked about this last week, I think, how, or we talked about that another week, where with men paying for everything, splitting the costs and what have you. Okay, so now we're gonna get into some of this slang, y'all. And this blew my mind because I only knew about ghosting. I've heard about love bombing and breadcrumbing, but it's when I say dating is ghetto, it is ghetto. So okay, benching. All right, this is keeping someone on the sidelines as an option because they're not ready to commit. Yeah, been there, done that with people before. Like, I'm not doing this with you. Either you're ready or you're not. I'm not going to be your elf on the shelf. Yeah, love bombing. Exactly. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So, breadcrumbing, leading someone on and being in just enough contact to make it seem like you're interested when you know you're really not. And I get that too. It's like the hey, or you know how they say hey big head, those little texts here and there. Um so yeah, I just talked about breadcrumbing. So yeah, those little texts here and there, like, hey, how are you? You haven't heard from this person in months. Why do you care how I'm doing? I haven't talked to you in months, so what does it matter? But they just keep in just enough contact just so they can keep you around, keep you as an option. Cuffing, or cuffing season, we've heard about that before. That is the idea that you are tied down to one person, or you're in a serious relationship. Okay, so that's cuffing. All right, I'm trying to cuff. I ain't trying to do nothing else but cuff. Hey Max. All right, freckling. So this is when you're dating someone and they treat you like a fling. And y'all, I don't know where these things. I got this from like Glamour magazine or something. Like this is just unbelievable to me that there are all these terms now. Because I'm like, whatever happened to do you like me? Circle yes or no. It's not that simple anymore. You got to ask all these questions when you're dating now, and we'll talk about that in a second. All right, gaslighting. So this is a serious form of manipulation, and this is when a person, the person that's doing the gaslighting, creates a situation where the other person starts to doubt their own feelings. And then we have ghosting, as I talked about earlier. Someone stops communicating with you out of the blue without an explanation. And I want to talk about ghosting for a second because I'm like, do we just not use our words anymore? And I get it. Like, I was talking to somebody, and he was like, oh, I did ghosting. I used to ghost people in the past because I didn't want to confront that person. And he's like, well, if I didn't answer your phone call, then maybe you pick up the hint. And obviously after a certain point you pick up the hint, but if in your mind you thought things were going well and then all of a sudden you just didn't hear from the person, it's like, damn, is that what we doing? Like, you're not gonna tell me you're not interested? But I think it really does come down to the fact that people are just non-confrontational. They don't want to go back and forth about the whys, and it's just like, it's better to just disappear. um Groundhogging. My mom, I know. I need some backup, Elsie. Mama Hutton, she has something else to do tonight, so she told me she will not be here. Max said, "Do you think there are some reasons where ghosting someone is acceptable?" Yeah, if you know someone is obnoxious, because I have to be honest, even though I don't want to be ghosted, I think I have done some form of ghosting before when a person is just obnoxious, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not answering you anymore because this is just a ridiculous situation. So yeah, I definitely think there are times when it's appropriate, but if it didn't end poorly, or if that person didn't necessarily do something negative, I think that it's worth an explanation, and it doesn't have to be a long drawn out explanation. But this is not working for me, and you can send that in a text. And I'm really not open to having a conversation about it, but I just feel like people just, you know, disappear and that's it. All right, groundhogging. Yes, Will. So, groundhogging. This is when you're dating the same person over and over again, but expecting different results. You caught up in that cycle of that type, that's my type, and you just keep getting yourself in the trap. Haunting. Okay, so this is keeping tabs on your ex on social media. Yeah, I know some of y'all out there guilty. After a certain point, you got to detox, okay? That is the only way I can detox, by not looking at someone's social media. I'm just going to follow you. And I don't really like following people I'm dating anyway, for that very reason. Because it's like, okay, when it ends, now what? And I don't want to see you popping up in my feed. So it's just better to just detach and detox from that whole process. Haunting, right? Haunting or stalking, right? And borderline stalking. Okay, y'all, kitten fishing. So there's catfish, where someone shows you a completely different photo, but kitten fishing is like baby catfish. So this is when you use photos of yourself, but they are old photos. So that photo is from 1998, bro. You do not look like that anymore. Okay? And then when you see that person, you're like, really? See you over here with the Jordache, the Jordache jeans and the Fila shoes. That's what I'm talking about, with the belly. No, you kitten fishing. All right? So use the current photo. Stop trying to use these old photos, especially if you know them old photos, you don't look like that anymore. Okay? Stop playing. All right, love bombing. Okay, I mentioned this earlier. Love bombing is when, this is manipulation too. The manipulator will shower you with love and compliments, displays of affection, show you all this attention, and sweep you off your feet and everything. And then when they get you, they withdraw. So that's love bombing, when they just laying it on thick. Like, I've had guys who are like, "Ooh, girl, yeah, I want to marry you. Like, man, we can have babies. I see you in my future, blah, blah, blah." And then when you get me, it's just like, wow. Okay, now what happened to all those things that you said? you know. So I think, so that is love bombing, for those out you just laying it on thick, and then when you get that person, you just disappear. All right, orbiting. This is when an ex continues to interact with your social media even though you are done. So they basically don't have any boundaries, and they know you're not effing with them. So it's like, why are you still commenting on my photos, liking stuff, all up in my stories, when you know I don't F with you? So yeah, that is love. That is orbiting. Um, Will he said, now I have to get rid of my Jordache. This is foolishness. I'm not doing this with you, Willie. Okay. So, all right. Pocketing. So this is when a partner fails to introduce you to friends and family, even though you're dating and you've been dating for a while. So they basically, you're like their little secret. They don't want to take you around nobody. And why is that? Are you scared? Do you have somebody else? That's what I want to know. Why I'm not meeting your friends and your family. Okay. Then we have roaching. This one is funny to me. I was like, roaching, come on now, y'all. This is too much. So this is when a new partner hides the fact that they're still sleeping around and dating other people. And it's called roaching because when you see one cockroach, there are many that you don't see. I was like, okay. All right. All right. So Will said, if you're in the pocket, are you really dating, right? Are you? I don't know. See, this is when you have to have these conversations about where are we, and that's another thing too. Sometimes people make assumptions about where they are in a relationship in terms of a relationship status, and they don't want to have the conversation and just ask. And they're like, well, I don't, especially women, they're like, oh, girl, I don't want to ask because then it may turn into, this big argument or whatever. Like, why we got to put labels? And see, when a man does that, I'd be like, so you really don't want to commit. And I get it. Labels and all that stuff at this age, I'm not trying to have a boyfriend. I want a man, I want a partner, I want a long-term partner. I ain't trying to do all that boyfriend, girlfriend stuff. We're not in high school. But at the same time, you need to establish where you are and what you're doing. We grown. I don't have time for all that. All right. Will said we need a glossary. Exactly. This is why I'm giving y'all these terms so when you out here in these streets, you know what's going on. Okay, so the last one is situationship. So this is when you're not quite a friendship and you're not necessarily in a relationship. So it's like in between. So a situationship. So that's a lot, y'all. That's a lot. I was like, you know what? This is why I don't go outside. This is why I just stay in the house. It's too dangerous out here in these streets. All these terms, and I'm sure it's some other stuff people have made up that we don't even know about. So these are 2022. Okay, and dating terms have evolved over time, like because you have guys who are like, oh, we're not dating, we're talking, so it's like talking, dating, hanging out. Well, it's just too much. It's just too much. Can we just be together? And that's it. That's all I want to know. Can we just be together? All right. Woo, y'all. I'm exhausted even just thinking about it and talking about these things. Okay, so what the sip is, if you watch Love is Blind, you will know the context of this. And I don't watch Love is Blind, but I've seen this couple. I've seen clips of them, and when they got through with the show or whatever, they decided not to be married, but they decided to stay together. So SK and Raven, she's a Pilates instructor, beautiful. SK, if you see Raven and you see SK, then you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna do it. But what I'm saying is they broke up, y'all, and they broke up because he cheated on her. He cheated. And I'm like, you got the nerve to cheat? How you gonna cheat? How, Sway? But we talked about cheating last week, and I gave all them reasons of why people cheat, so it had to be one of those. Okay? So, yeah, he cheated. All right, guys. So, you know what it is. If you want to chime in on this topic, you can call at 713-396-0277. Okay? So, calling me now if you got something to say about this topic. Let's see. Max said, question. So, how would you introduce someone you're dating to your friends and family if you like the label boyfriend and girlfriend? Or are you saying if I don't like the label boyfriend, girlfriend? I mean, this is my man. This is my partner. They're still my partner. I mean, I guess you can still say boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm not saying you can't use the term, but I mean, this is my man, my partner. Yeah, if I don't like, this is my partner. That's it. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've said boyfriend. I have not been in a relationship since I've been divorced. But even before that, I don't even know if I called my ex my boyfriend. Maybe I did, but we were also younger then, and I've evolved since then. So at this age, as a 40-year-old woman, partner, Some people say life partner. Well, if you're not there yet, just partner. My mate. I say mate. Well, again, I haven't had a mate, but and if I'm dating, we're just dating. So yeah, I haven't really had to use boyfriend. So yeah, that's a good question though. All right. So I'll wait for you guys to call, but in the meantime, I do have some other questions from Sip with Joy page on Instagram. Someone asked me this last week, and I really appreciate it because a lot of times people just see you and they think you're good, and they're like whatever. So someone asked me how I'm doing, and I appreciate that. And the answer to that is I have good days and I have bad days. The holiday season is really tough for me with my sister not being around, but I'm here. I'm pushing through and showing up in the best way that I know how. So I appreciate that question last week asking how I'm doing, because a lot of people just kind of they go on about their life, and that's fine. But I'm still a human. I'm still going through what I'm going through, and so is everybody else. All right. So next question is, what are your plans for Thanksgiving? I'm going home to be with my mom and my dad in Chicago. So braving myself for this cold because I'm definitely not ready for that. And then the last question is, what brand was the last wine you sipped on IG? And that was the Pinot Noir from Burgundy, France, and it's from the Dubois vineyard, the R. Dubois and Fil winery. So yeah, check that out. They have very good Pinot Noir. All right. Don't nobody want to say nothing? Nobody want to talk about it? Nobody want to talk about the topic tonight? Okay. Y'all quiet. Y'all try to process all of these terms so you can get ready to go out in these streets and be like, you know what? You're love bombing me. You're breadcrumbing me. Don't be out here haunting people. Now I got these terms. Now I'm ready. I feel equipped. I hope you guys feel better equipped as well. All right, so y'all, that's if y'all don't have no questions and y'all want to talk to me tonight. I told y'all it ain't safe. Y'all see why dating is ghetto, because this right here, I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening. And there was something that I said I was going to talk about, but I don't remember because I'm tired. So you just got to know what you're dealing with out here in the streets. Oh, we have a caller. Look at that. We have a caller, guys. Hello, caller. Hey, Sipper. I'm good. How are you? All right. I had never heard of these things either. So these are like terms that people are coming up with. These are like, this is like dating slang of 2022 that they have evolved from the foolishness, like you said, that people are doing out here in these streets. It is. Yeah. No, groundhogging, that is the one where you're dating your type over and over again. You just keep repeating the same cycle over and over. You just bury it and then bring them back to life. Just bury that person, bring them back to life. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what it said. It didn't say, when I when I pulled the term, it didn't say that. So you know what? I have not. Well, I don't know if it's groundhogging someone, but I think it's the act of groundhogging. So we got to use it in the right way. so so it's ground. So I think I have. I think I have because I've definitely dated a certain type over and over again, but I had to break the cycle. So I definitely have probably groundhogged whatever. I don't even know how to use these terms in a sentence, but yes, I think I have definitely been groundhogging before. I think you have to recognize the pattern. Because if you're just repeating these patterns over and over again, I think you have to recognize that you are falling into a pattern. If you, it's like repeating the same mistakes over and over again, basically. If you know you're experiencing the same things from this person, you have to recognize that, take a step and look back at what's happening. So you have to choose to break that cycle. If you're like, man, really? I'm dating the same type of person over and over again. If it's a problem, then yeah, that's when you need to break the cycle. Yeah. So you got it. You are you equipped? Right. All right. Right. Well, thank you for calling. Bye. Oh man. Okay, let's see. Max said, "What's the difference between courting and dating?" So, hmm, that's a good question because I was just talking to one of my friends about chasing and pursuing. So I think that courting is actively pursuing someone. Dating can be very surface level, I think. And yeah, courting, you are actively pursuing that person. So I think, yeah, I think there's definitely a difference. And I think people have to get this notion of chasing out of their heads. I don't know when that started. That's another thing. Another thing that's happening in dating where I'm not chasing you. And it's like, you calling me is chasing. I didn't realize that. It's like I'll give a guy my number and then I won't hear from him for 3 days, and he's sitting here telling me how, I'm a good guy, I'm consistent, I'm this, I'm that, but I ain't hear from you. And then when someone tells you, I'll call you the next day, and I'm big on do what you say you're going to do, even if we're not even together at that point. Because if you don't establish consistency in the beginning for me, that's a red flag. So I have an issue with that. So courting, courting is, I think, actively pursuing someone, and dating, like I said, can be very surface level. You getting to know somebody, but it could be on a very surface level. All right. You said run down the terms again. It's a lot of them, Will. It's a lot of them. Okay. Jennifer, hey Jennifer, she said dating is hard when you're dealing with so-called grown people. It is really hard. And you want me to post the terms? I will work on posting those terms. But yeah, it's hard out here in these streets, y'all. I'm telling you, you gotta be safe. Just know what you're dealing with. And the biggest thing I tell people, and this is for men and women, if you have identified red flags, don't ignore them. A lot of times we ignore these red flags and then we're mad later. We kicking ourselves in the foot because we're mad that we accepted certain behavior. Break the cycle. If you know you've tolerated behavior, if you're enabling this person to treat you a certain way, you can only be mad at yourself. And I'm a big person that gives people the benefit of the doubt. But now it's like when I recognize something, it's a no for me. So yeah, recognize the red flags and the signs and run very fast. Okay, y'all. So there are no more questions or comments. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to post in my stories on Sip with Joy some wine pairings for some of that good Thanksgiving food. So look out for that. And I will see you back here next Monday for the season finale. Oh, wait. Robin said, I agree. Don't ignore the red flags and follow your gut. But a lot of times we don't want to start over with dating. Oh, my God, girl. Yes. The struggle is real. That's why I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to just sit here with me and Gigi. She's not with me today. She decided to, park it somewhere else. She didn't want to sit up here with me today. But, yeah, it's hard starting over. I wish I could honestly just skip past all the all the stuff that we just talked about, like all these phases of dating. Can we just be together and just be happily ever after? Can we just do that? Is that even possible anymore? So yeah, I definitely agree with not wanting to start over because it's hard out here in these streets. I don't want to do it. Mommy, no. And I tell my parents because they always wonder, like, why I'm still single. They're like, you're the whole package. Yeah, but tell somebody else that, because clearly it's not enough. I think men have a lot of options, and I've talked to a lot of men. They have so many options. So if you pissing them off, you did one thing wrong, they just on to the next. We don't have that luxury as women. So yeah, it's hard out here for a. Well, I'm not even a pimp, but it's hard out here for women. So, all right. Yeah, exactly. Let's just get married. Can you just press a button and be like, how about circle yes or no? You want to get married? Yes or no? That's it. Skip all the BS. Jennifer said, pray God's blessings on you and traveling. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And for real, I'll see y'all next week for the season finale. Bye.